Hello, welcome to LLG'S, Random But Real. My name is Lisa L. Gilliam, and I am the host of this podcast, where we have conversations about any and all things random with an entree, not a side dish, of mental health advocacy. I use my performance, communication, and literary art skills to bring awareness about mental health and other topics. Therefore, whether I am singing, speaking, or writing, it is my desire that my words will be melodic, just like music, to your ears. Please note, the comments expressed in this podcast are those of mine and or the guests. They are not intended to be used for professional guidance. Please seek a licensed professional if you are in need of care or therapy, experiencing trauma, or are in danger. And if in danger, please call 911. Thank you in advance for listening to LLG's Random But Real. I hope you enjoy this podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of LLG's Random But Real. I first want to let you all know this is episode 10, y'all, which means that this season is ending for this, I should say this part of the podcast is ending for this season. We usually come back after the break or vacation or the summer months, sometime in September is usually when I start again. If I continue to do it, we'll see how things go this summer. I am going to start singing more, so that usually is more engagements. As you know, if you follow me, I usually do a lot of karaoke because that's one of the ways for me to get my aggressions out and or my feelings or my emotions. I love being able to sing and uplift other people, but it also allows me to release some things that I might be experiencing. Excuse me. If you hear my voice and you listened to the podcast a few weeks ago, you know that I had an asthma attack. And so this asthma attack was quite different. It has caused me to lose my voice. Funny enough, I have been able to still sing, but I don't want to cause any damage to my vocal cords or anything like that. So I am going to go to an ENT. But they have been booked and busy, y'all. So, we pre-record this podcast. And so I have to wait almost 2 months to get an ENT appointment. So if you know me and love me and know Jesus Christ for yourself, then say a prayer that everything will be fine and that I will, not do any damage or anything like that. Because, got to continue to sing. That's also second income, but it's also ministry for me. I have been not just doing R&B like I do usually at karaoke, but also gospel. And that's going to include probably singing some of my own music or making new music. I had the opportunity to, I should say this podcast is really more of an update and follow up and just kind of informative to end out the season. So I had the opportunity to go hear one of my friends, Broderick Rice. He's a Christian comedian. Really funny dude. And also the owners of this lounge, well, it was at this lounge, Green Notes Tea Lounge. I hope I had the name correct because I'm not looking at right now. Our owners, Lionel and Leslie Green, who I've known for a really, really long time. Fun fact, back in the day when I first started singing gospel, my own CDs, after I released my CD, they would often bless me and allow me to sing on the Spirit of Washington. So if you're in the DMV area, the boat goes around. It's like a 2-hour ride. And then also the Spirit of Philadelphia. And then I would get like 10 tickets and be able to be a blessing to people that were a blessing to me. So that was back in the 90s, the good old days, maybe some of the 2000s. But I can't believe it's been over 24 years since I've done that. But yeah, I think it was like in the late 90s. So no, you know what? That's incorrect because my CD didn't drop my first one till 2004. So it was the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s, I guess. But even with that being said, that's still 20 years. So sometimes time flies. All the time flies. But shout out to Lionel Leslie Green. Shout out to Broderick Rice. It was good seeing you all again because it's been a minute. And then my other friend, Coy Lasson, who's also a Christian comedian. So I think Coy he might do both, but both Coy and Broderick are pretty much clean comedians, which reminds me of how I saw a post from Sinbad, who is another one, and I'm glad that God is blessing him. And so I guess I just did a little short comedy shout out to some people real quick. I pray that God continues to enlarge all of their territories. I think that is, it's awesome. Laughter really is good for the soul. It's great medicine. The scripture talks about that too. Scripture, the Bible. Okay, so update. One of the other things that I talked about recently is hysterectomy and fibroids. And so my numbers were not where they needed to be. So unfortunately, I've had to postpone the surgery. But I am working out, daily and cooking more at home, trying to do the other things that I need to do to get my numbers down so that I can move forward without having to have all the residual symptoms that come along with fibroids. And yes, I did try or look into other options. This is something that, as I shared on the podcast, my doctor at the time has pretty much said something to me since age 38 about getting it, and I will be 51 by the time this podcast airs. So, that's a long time to have to deal with all the symptoms. And if you don't know them and you're interested, I did post a link on the podcast as well. Excuse me. So you can go back and look at that on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeart, pretty much anywhere where you can find podcasts. They're all streaming there. So whatever your preference is, please go check out that podcast. And even if it's not because you don't want to know anything about me, you may have a family member, a friend, wife, spouse, significant other, that may be interested. Excuse me. You all know it's random or real, so if I gotta sneeze or cough or whatever it is, that's what we do on here. So excuse me. So yeah, I just wanted to give y'all an update on that. Prayerfully, when I come back in September, if I do continue to do the podcast, then I will be able to share that. And I might intermittently, like throughout the summer, if something is happening exciting and new, I may actually drop, a podcast or so. But just want to let you all know that as far as the book, I am going to look at some venues. We still want to do these conversations with individuals who, just want to kind of talk about relationships and healing. And I know there's a need for it, even from when I was a former counselor to even, now the work that I do, restorative practitioner. I'm finding more and more relationships are just broken, and people are not having conversations where they're communicating their actual feelings. And it's so important to let people know how you feel. We are not created to be here on this earth by ourselves. We are supposed to have community. We're supposed to work together. We're supposed to, make sure that people are good. Am I my brother's keeper or my sister's keeper? Yes, I actually am. So speaking of siblings, shout out to my brother, who has been a blessing all my life, but I really especially am thankful for him checking on me, whether it's, gearing up to the surgery or having an asthma attack. I do know that when I need him, he's there, and that's important. Okay, family is important, and I think some people forget about that aspect too. Nothing's greater than having family, having people who care about you. And the family may not be the family that you're born into. It might actually be the one that you met. Some friends are sometimes, as one of my friends used to call it, family. And, sometimes that's important as well. So find some people, find your tribe. I was telling a friend, they had asked me what I was doing for my birthday, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, truth be told, I can't wait till God bless me with my significant other for real, my spouse, and I won't have to plan all of my outings myself. But this year, 51, like I said, by the time this airs, I will be 51. It's gonna look a little different. I already know. Because I don't have some of the same friends that I used to. I don't hang with some of the same people. But what I do want is community. And I want the people that love and care about me and that I love and care about to be there with me. So I wasn't going to do anything but maybe a dinner. I actually am doing something that day. I'm going to a training, a restorative practice training called Power and Adultism. And that's how much I love restorative practices, restorative justice. And so always trying to learn more about it as much as I can. So we're doing that. I am reading this book. Sorry if y'all heard that in the background, or also washing clothes. This book about restorative justice, and just it's so interesting to learn new facts. My goal is to do that. And then I also still have to take this music practice test so that I can get certified. Well, now it's going to be considered licensed to teach, although I'm not teaching music. That's a whole nother story. If you really want to know that one, please just hit me up. I will gladly share with you. But in order to stay or continue to have my job, I do have to go ahead and make sure that I am licensed. Like I said, although it's not the subject that I'm teaching, I'm a non-classroom based teacher, but I absolutely love my job and I'm very grateful. I'm practicing gratefulness more, praying more, recognizing more. And as I was saying, my friend and I were talking about, I was just like, I don't need anything. It's not about gifts for me. They're nice, but just people's presence, taking the time out to celebrate with me is really the present that I want. This year and every year. But yep, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the people who support. It's ironic or uncanny, I should say, to me that people are still buying songs from the first CD back in 2004 or the single, I think that was 2015. God Deliver Me. Shout out to Martin Campbell, the producer, and shout out to Detrick Edwards, who was the producer of the first project. Past the present. And then even in 2019, it was several different producers on that one. Can't name them all right now. But I'm grateful for you all that support. Tracy, my co-author of 21 Days, we've been talking. And like I said, we still want to do the conversations with people. And I think I might have finally found a spot. So stay tuned for that. So you know where you can purchase your tickets to come. And hopefully you all already have the book, and we'll go from there. It's going to be a good discussion. It's going to be a hearty discussion and a real discussion, because if you've read 21 Days, then you know that Tracy and I pretty much share details of our lives, but it's really so other people can be healed. I've mentioned this before, such a blessing to have people who are married who have read the book and are just like, I wish I had something like this when I was getting married. And so I'm very grateful, very, very grateful. So this is really all I have to say right now. I would love to hear your comments. Thank you for a great season. Those 10 episodes went by quickly. Oh, I will say this. Like I mentioned also this before, there were several people who said they would be on shows with me this season, but none of them ever responded back, I shouldn't say that. They responded, but none of them came to fruition. It's fine. Things change. But I'm proud of myself because I said that I would be consistent and that I would do these recordings, these podcast recordings, regardless of whether I had guests or not. You too may have something to say. And so, TOO too. And I hope that you are encouraged to say whatever it is on your heart, regardless. If you want to do a podcast, or you want to write a book, or you want to write songs, or you want to sing songs, or, you want to write a movie, or be an actress or actor, whatever it is that God has called you to be, whether it's in the creative realm or non-creative realm, I just want you to do all that God has gifted you to do. And whatever he hasn't gifted you to do, just know that his grace is sufficient. He can give you the strength to do and become those things, but just make sure they're lining up with his will for your life. That's the most important thing. Whatever we do, we're supposed to do it unto, the Lord. And so I pray that in this season of your life, in this season of our life, that we'll do things for the glory of God, and that he reigns supreme in every aspect of our life, and that we're grateful for where we've come and where we're going. And even if you've received a bad report, know that God is able to heal. He's able to deliver. He's able to put back families together. He's able to reestablish and make stronger relationships. He's able to do exceeding abundantly above all we ask or think, according to the power that works in him. So just trust him. Trust him today. Trust him that he is definitely able to do those things beyond what you think or imagine. I wanted to actually find something and actually give that to you, the specific name of that scripture, but I might not be able to do it while I'm on the podcast. But just know, hopefully I didn't misquote anything. If I did, then I'm charged to my head, not my heart. Okay, because that's not what I was trying to do. But I'm grateful for you all. I'm grateful for each person that does check in with me, or that does listen, or that shares the podcast. Please go back and listen to one that you missed and share it with somebody else. That's one great way to support those of us that create. So I do really hope Ephesians 3:20, that is actual scripture, excuse me, and New International Version says, "Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is in work within us." And New King James, of course, is, "Now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us." And so if he's within you, then you have the power that you need to do the things that he has called you to do. Please don't give up in this season. Please be careful. Please, have fun, because it's about to be summer, but be careful. And I hope that you all had a phenomenal Memorial Day weekend, and it's graduation, prom time, prom season. I got to go see one of my friends' sons go off to prom, and hopefully get to see a few other people in this season. So celebrate, but celebrate safely. Thank God for where you come from, and don't give up. One singing lady out. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's podcast, LLG's Random But Real. I appreciate your support and your time. Until next time, please make sure you visit my website, www.lisalgilliam.com, so you can find out more information about where this podcast is streamed, about my book, about the CDs, and spoken word. Again, I appreciate your support, and I look forward to hearing from you and you all listening to the next episode. Have a wonderful day.